Hi, Dr. Webb. I hope you're having a nice weekend, and hi to Boudreaux. So this Reflect and Connect is based off of your dissertations, or one of them, and it's on student-centered pedagogy, and I've really enjoyed the reading it, especially the anecdote story of what inspired your dissertation. So, you explain how conductors, like the role of the conductor in a classroom has changed over time, where it started kind of a convergent, it had a lot of convergent thinking applied to it, and it's very just conductor podium based and nothing really, I guess, creative, and it was kind of the source of education was coming from one source, and it really didn't allow students to kind of learn on their own. But over time, you explain how that kind of has changed, and the role of the conductor and educator has become more flexible, and it holds more and more confidence in their students, and it holds a lot of ability for like broadening student engagement. Excuse me. And yeah, so instead of having that one source and only one source of learning, now it's broadening where students can learn on their own with guidance. So you mentioned that it's student-centered learning is where students are actively participating on their own education, and they're problem solving on their own. But what makes it more functioning is that if those students are experimenting on their own and all of that with guidance, so that can be from, there's a graph and later on in the dissertation where it's the student who's learning, and it's the guidance or like the scaffolding is from peer teaching, the concept itself, and the educator, and their own experimenting. What else? And it's a lot of problem solving. So like you mentioned in class how if a student's like, oh, can we play like this? And the immediate answer is no, but you can kind of make it student learning based by having them experiment and try it the wrong way, and then have them do it the right way, and they can hear the difference. So that's learning. Traditionally, orchestras used to function again through convergent thinking, and I know there's the first graph where it's kind of like a weird triangle, where it demonstrates just like the one source, and you're just learning from that one source. It's kind of like what I say goes. It's very old-fashioned. Excuse me. And that's again a lot of podium walk and not really thinking or teaching creatively, I would say. But student-centered learning, it comes from constructivism, so it's from Brunner and Vygotsky. I did not forget, from 251. But it's just where students kind of build their knowledge through experimenting and subjective learning, and they experiment with guidance. So that's with peers, the concept itself, teachers, and oh yes, I mentioned that. And towards the end of your dissertation, you give tips on like how to what you can do to help in student learning, and you mentioned how to take detours. So like in your anecdote story, like in another world you could have taken the time, or like I will probably one day take the time to if a student asks, oh, why can't we play it like this, and the detour would be me having them try it the wrong way and try it the right way so they can hear it, and like I said earlier. But there's also, you mentioned like engaging students with like problem solving activities, and improv with scaffolding. So whether that's like playing a certain scale and having students, like individual students, improv in their own ways. Or I know in 305 you mentioned how if you have like rules like, oh, improv with these three notes, that's a lot of scaffolding, and it gives them wiggle room to be comfortable and experiment. There's also like the biggest one, don't podium lock as much. So instead of just like staying on there waving your hands around, to just walk around the classroom and hear the back of the room so you can get a different perspective. Also, changing up the seats is very helpful too, because not only are you giving opportunities to like for the students in the back just to figure out how it is in the front. It's kind of the hearing difference that could be really helpful. And yeah, different sort of perspective. Have a nice week.